Yo, what up? It's your boy Chad back on another video, back on Angel Time. I want to first ask if you guys get the like button on the way into the video. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it means everything to me. And if you guys are liking the content, subscribe to the tribe. All right, so let's get up. If you guys look at the title of the video, I named it Why True Men of God Are the Most Dangerous. Why True Men of God Are the Most Dangerous. And this topic stems about a previous point that I made on how people are going to say that men of God are corny and lame and all that type of stuff. And this comes from the way that men are portrayed in movies and TV. Like they just portray the Christian man as being weak and all that type of stuff. But I'm here to tell you that men of God are not corny and we're not lame and we're more powerful than you think. In fact, we're the most dangerous men alive. And this is why I'm making this video. So without further ado, let's get it. Let's go. First, we are bold as a lion. And I want to be the first one to say this to all my brothers out there who preach the truth. If you do not preach the truth, nobody will. In fact, we see what happens in the world when we let other people teach the word of God. They change the color of our Messiah, and not only him, the other kings, the judges, the prophets, the children of Israel, they change all their colors. They remove books, they take out scriptures, they misquote scriptures. They tell you that the laws is done away with. They tell you that you can eat the abominable foods. They tell you you can celebrate pagan holidays. Like I could just keep going. Like this is what happens when you let other people teach the word of God. So to the point I'm trying to make, man, if you are not out there teaching the true word of God, the raw and unadulterated truth, no one will. And we know that teaching this word of God is going to come with us being hated. We deal with mockers, scoffers, like I see brothers getting attacked, some people getting spit on, like we deal with spiritual warfare, like we get persecuted, and even some of us is going to be facing death. Like remember in Revelations, it tells us what's going to happen to us. It tells us in the last day what's going to happen to people who believe in Jesus Christ and who follow the Bible. Like, and every time I seem to bring this up, like my videos always get not pushed out. So I'm not going to say what happens to us, but it's in Revelations 20:4. So again, to the point, man, we know our destiny in this journey. Like when you preach the word of God, it's going to come with us getting hated. And even like I said, Revelations 20:4. So you definitely got to have a boldness to you if you going to preach the word of God, knowing the outcome to this. And when the time of the persecutions come, I can promise you, like, they are not going to go after these fake pastors, these fake teachers, these fake prophets, these guys that you see on TV. Like, they are not going to go after these type of men. They are going to go after men like us who preach the truth and who do not care about your feelings, the men who are waking people up, the men who are saving souls, and the men that are bold as a lion. So by being bold as a lion and teaching the true word of God, you're going to always be the most dangerous amongst men because you are a threat to their agenda. And if you wasn't a threat to their agenda, they would not be trying to persecute you or try to silence you or even try to Revelations 20:4 you for saying this. So always remember that. And next is because you have self-control. And what we are witnessing now is the falling out of the church. And by church, I mean the assembly. Like I'm seeing a lot of brothers and sisters walk away from being Christian or being Israelites. Like I even saw what's her name? Candace Owens say that she no longer is Christian and she moved to Catholics. But to the point I'm trying to make, man, we are definitely witnessing the falling out of the church. And the reason why people are leaving the Christian faith is because they believe that there's no power in the word of Jesus, and they hate that how Jesus is mocked. And again, like all these books have been removed and all this like foolery that you see in these churches and all that type of stuff, like that is the reason why they are leaving the Christian faith. And in these other religions that these people go to, their word is governed by force. And by force, I mean, if you was to disrespect or mock their gods or any of their teachings or anything like that, or any of their prophets, you will be put to death. And I'm not going to lie, like this is something that I agree with. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, with those other religions, like, I'm not going to say their name because it says, I think in Exodus 23, not to mention them or anything like that. So I'm not going to even mention those other religions. But I think you guys can know what religion I'm talking about. But in that religion, like, you see them men, man, like, they're mighty men, they're strong men, they're always suited and booted. Like, they actually just had, like, their feast, like, where they Like they fast for their certain amount of days, and like I said, like everything about them, like they're mighty men. And I'm not gonna lie, like that is something that we had and we don't have anymore. And but to the point I'm trying to make, man, you would never ever see anybody in that religion mocking their God, or you would never see a woman of that religion take a half naked picture, then put on Instagram as the caption Proverbs 31 or something like that. Like you would never ever see a person of that religion mocking their God in any type of way. And that is the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament, because in the Old Testament, if you was to mock God, like you could read about it, like them brothers was to your door with it, as we say. Like if you was to mock God back in the Old Testament days, like those brothers would kill you for it. And with the New Testament came the coming of Jesus Christ, and being Christian means being Christ-like. So we have to carry ourselves just like how Christ carried himself. So we got to show meekness and kindness, and like just like a gentleness towards our enemies. But to the point I'm trying to make, man, you are not soft or you are not a punk if you don't respond with aggression towards being disrespected. In fact, you are the complete opposite, because it takes more strength in somebody to not retaliate, especially for men. It takes more strength for us not to retaliate by force and to just hold it back and just let God take care of everything. So again, man, it is very easy for a man to just go out there and act aggressively or want to fight anybody who's disrespectful towards you. Like it is harder for a man to control himself and not react aggressively. So a man who has self-control, especially in tumultuous situations, is always going to be dangerous amongst men, because he can control himself, and that is not easy to do. And next is your discipline. And we all know in this journey that following the law, statutes, and commandments is not the easiest thing to do. In fact, this is probably one of the hardest things that you want to do in your life. Like, especially nowadays, like with all this stuff happening, like it's easy for men to just return back to their vomit. Like it's easy, even for me myself. Like I don't want to be doing this every day. Like there's days where I'm just like, screw this. Like I just want to go back to my old life and just go back to doing what I want to do. So to the point I'm trying to make, man, following the law, statutes, and commandments is probably one of the hardest things you would do, man. And it takes real discipline, man, to do this, man. And this is like one of the things that I look forward to, because as a man, you got to always have discipline in your life. And as you guys know, I'm ex-military. So military is all about discipline. Military is all about waking up early, working out, and becoming the best version of yourself and being the best you can be. So that is instilled with me, but nothing is like how it is being a man of God. Like this discipline surpasses that by far, because being a man of God, you got to be accountable for yourself. You got to be accountable for others, depending on what work you do for the kingdom. And being a man of God is definitely going to come with you being disciplined, because, like I said, man, it's hard to follow law, statutes, and commandments, man. It's hard to pray and fast and not want to partake in the worldly things, man. That is the hardest thing, man. So any man in the journey who is following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their abilities, and they're using their body as vessels to win over souls for the kingdom of heaven, it's always going to be the most dangerous amongst men, because you cannot be a man of God without having discipline. And next is you've been through the fire. And I always bring up the story of Joseph in the Bible, because Joseph been through the most. And some people would say Job went through the most, but remember, Job was prosperous and he was rich before that happened. And that only happened for a season for him. Like that was only for a moment. And after that situation happened, Job got everything back plus double. But Joseph went through it his whole life. Like Joseph was taking L's from the beginning. But to the point I'm trying to make, man, how many of us are just like Joseph, man? How many of us has been through everything bad that life has to offer? Like how many of us has lived in poverty, and how many of us has seen things that we wasn't supposed to see at a young age? How many of us has been through gangs and shootings and robbings and stuff, like, oh, like I said, all the stuff, all the bad things that life has to offer? How many of us has been through that? So to the point I'm trying to make, man, true men of God has been through the fire, man. We have been battle tested, and it is said that God gives the strongest battles to his toughest warriors. So again, man, I already seen the worst that life has to offer, man. In fact, Jesus is probably the only thing I haven't seen yet. So again, man, to the point I'm trying to make, man, men of God, true men of God have already been through the fire. So I'm ready for the persecutions. I'm ready for the mockings, the scoffings, and all that. It's like, it's nothing new to me. I've been hated since the third grade. So you could call me whatever name you want to call me. You can say whatever you want to me. Like, it does not matter to me. It's not going to hurt me. So definitely have been through the fire, and that's definitely going to make you dangerous because you're going to be already prepared for all the bad things that life has to offer. So being through the fire is definitely going to make you more dangerous. And lastly is divine protection. And we all know in this journey that God gives us discernment. And what that discernment does is alerts us to possible danger. It alerts us to the possible threats and the schemes and the other things that people do like behind our backs. And the things that we are not able to discern, God will always warn his people via dreams or visions or any type of wise counsel or anything. Like God will always warn his people. Like I told you guys before, man, I went on a date with a Christian woman. Like she disguised herself as a Christian woman, and everything was going good, man. Like she sent texts, like we prayed over the phone. Like I would wake up to morning texts and morning scriptures and all that type of stuff. Like to the naked eye, like she seemed like she would be the one or whatever like that. But God showed me in a dream that she wasn't for me. Like in fact, in a dream that God sent me, it was a dream that her ex-boyfriend would be shooting at me. So again, man, God will always warn his people when there's danger ahead. And not only with her, like just people in general. Like since I've been on this journey, like there's been a lot of people reaching out to me to get together, to network and all that type of stuff. Like God has been warning me, no, not this person. Like stay away from this person. Like this person is not really a man of God, or don't go to this church or whatever like that. Like God is always going to warn his people. So it's always going to be harder to try to get one over on a man of God. So these people out there that are scheming and scamming and plotting against your downfall, they will never prosper. Like, and you can also learn from these experiences also. So like I said, like it's just that divine protection from God, man. Like you can like it's never, you can never take an L as a man of God. Like even if something was formed against you, like it won't prosper against you. So you'll live to learn from that situation. And in fact, like you'll take that learning experience and you'll be able to maneuver if that situation was to happen again. So like I said, man, you can never ever get one over on a man of God, man, because of that divine protection. In fact, in Joshua 1:9 says that, be not afraid, neither be now dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. So that wraps up with the video right there, man. That is why the true men of God are the most dangerous. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video out to everybody. First, get right to the Most High. Big it on Angel Time.